public speak out says all members of the City Council shall attend public speak out. That's the last sentence in the City Council rules. That means all councilors are required to attend public speak out. We are putting safeguards in place to get more people here, but I just wanted to say on the record, and I will say it again during our regular meeting, that it is a shall, which equals required. We're going to move through this very quickly. We're going to watch this clock and listen to it because we have 9 people here for public speak out, and then we're going to transition into our regular meeting at 6:30. And so for the speakers, I'm going to have to be strict on the time requirement. So just wanted to say that also. Thanks everybody for joining today. And we'll be starting public speak out in one minute. I want to thank Councilors Walsh and Govan for being here in person. And that's it. So that's 3 for public speak out. So we will go ahead and start the public speak out meeting agenda. Today is May 2nd at 6 o'clock. The first person on the agenda is Stephen Howard about immigration. Please state your name and address for the record, along with the topic that you'll be speaking on.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, everyone. Actually, there are 4 cases that will be coming before the Supreme Court around April, and one of them is to address the possible infringement on the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. And what that basically is about is when folks are rounded up by ICE, if they are first-generation Americans, in other words, like you're born here, you automatically get your citizenship. If at least one of your parents is not a U.S. citizen, you could then be deported, even though you are a citizen, as could your parents, even though they are legal residents here in the U.S. So let's say, for example, somebody may be 50 years old and they're the first person born in America. That person, if their parents, one of their parents is not a U.S. citizen, they could be deported, and there's no precise destination, because what this administration has been doing is once they round up people, and they've been rounding up citizens and people who are here legally, they could then deport you to whatever nation they deemed necessary. And what the administration is doing is actually making arrangements with nations to accept these deportees, even though they have no connection to the place that they're being deported to. So that's one thing. The other part, like I said, there are 4 cases coming up. The other part about that is, even though you're here legally, you could also be rounded up and be deported, even though you don't have a record. So, you know, these are some of the things that are coming before the Supreme Court, and they will be heard. I think the last one will be heard around April 1st. I find it interesting that April Fool's Day is the day that this will be heard on. And there are several other aspects of immigration that are very negative, because what they're also doing is they want to start cutting people off who have worked all their lives here in the U.S., have their Social Security and other benefits. Now they're looking to take away those Social Security benefits from, again, mainly targeting people who are first-time citizens. There are several other things, but since there are so many other people here, I think I'll just say thank you, Madam President, for giving me this opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. The next person on the agenda is Othaniel Brown, sign on Alden Street. Please, Othaniel Brown, are you here? All right, we'll table Othaniel. Crystal Bolchi, I think is the next name. Is Crystal here? All right. Roger Goodhind. Is Roger Goodhind here? Well, nobody showed up. Erica Cruz. Hey, Erica.
Hi, Madam President. I have some documents to pass to the council, if you don't mind.
Sure, you can give them to Councilor Govan. She will get them around. And please state your name, address for the record, and the topic that you'll be speaking on.
So my name is, well, first of all, good afternoon, council members. My name is Erica Cruz. I reside at 155 Allen Park Road, and I'm here representing on behalf of National Center for Civic Empowerment, which is a nonpartisan organization focused on civic education and engagement. Across the country, many people are concerned whether votes are counted accurately in elections. These concerns leave residents feeling uncertain and reduce confidence in the process. When people don't trust elections, participation can decline, which affects the health of our democracy. Springfield can help address these concerns by inviting more residents to observe voting count and post-election audits. Anyone can participate. Residents, candidates, party representatives, and even the media, as allowed by state law under Massachusetts General Law, Section 54. Broad participation helps demonstrate that ballots are handled safely, accurately, and securely. To reach more residents, the city can use Springfield's official social media channels, such as the Office of Communications and the Springfield Board of Elections, to post clear invitations with dates, locations, and rules for observing these processes. Social media should serve residents first, providing reliable, timely, and useful information. Currently, the Office of Communications page primarily highlights leadership activities. Expanding content to include public meetings, election processes, and other civic engagement opportunities would give residents clear access to information they need to participate in local elections and government. To improve, the city can provide timely updates such as upcoming elections, voter access, voting poll changes, and meeting announcements. Two-way communications for questions, survey, and respectful dialogue. Transparency updates with election procedures in plain language. Platform strategies using such effectively to reach residents with relevant information. And the Springfield's Office of Communication and Springfield Board of Elections social media channels should focus on providing accurate and useful information, which could build trust, engage residents, and strengthen the community. Posting clear information about observing voting count and audits will encourage participation and help residents understand the process, what is expected, and why it matters. When residents participate in enforcing trust it reinforces trust and civic participation. Additionally, I recommend that the council refers this consideration to the General Government Subcommittee so members can explore ways to enhance election transparency across departments and communication channels. Residents who see democracy in action are more likely to vote in future elections and encourage others to participate and trust local government. At this time, when concerns about access and fairness are increasing nationally, Springfield can be a model for transparent and trustworthy elections. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cruz. We appreciate all of that. The next person on the agenda signs as 420 Jim. Not sure, 420 Jim. The next person on the agenda is Donald DeLeon. Is Donald here? Okay. The next person on the agenda is Will Naylor. Please state your name, address, and your topic for the record.
My name is Will Naylor, a resident of Mason Square, and my topic this evening is a call for unity. Thank you, Madam President Whitfield, and all City Councilor members. Thank you for the opportunity to share my voice with this distinguished body. Equity in governance requires discipline. Fair deliberation requires restraint, and jurisprudence requires process. In the City Council chambers, you're not called to react, you're called to reason. I believe this. When you're right, you're right. When you're wrong, you're wrong. But leadership is not defined by perfection. It is defined by how consistently one fights for justice, equity, and resources for underserved communities and communities of color. That is the standard I measure by. A rush to judgment weakens the very democratic process we are sworn to uphold. Due process is not avoidance, it is accountability. It ensures that decisions are made on fact, not feeling, on evidence, not emotion. To move toward a vote of no confidence against Tracy Whitfield at this stage risks creating division instead of resolution. It replaces thoughtful governance with political impulse, and we cannot afford that. And I hope that that decision will be rescinded tonight with all jurisprudence. It is never wise to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Springfield does not need fracture, it needs function. We need alignment between the council, the mayor's administration, and our municipal departments so we can focus on what truly matters, improving the quality of life for the people we serve. Unity does not mean silence. Unity means allowing the process to work. Let the facts emerge, let the law guide, let fairness prevail, because equity demands patience and leadership demands restraint. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Naylor. The final person on the agenda is Charles Stokes.
Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome. Please state your name, address, and the reason for the record.
My name is Charles Stokes. I'm here for the unlawful arrest of Stephanie Medrano, a victim of domestic violence, and she survived.
Address, please.
6 Tyrone Street.
Thank you.
I rise tonight because justice delayed in this city has become justice denied. Stephanie Medrano, a 24-year-old African Latina mother, called for help. She was the victim of domestic violence. Instead of protection, she was arrested. Since that unlawful arrest, she has been granted a restraining order against the father of her children, an order that has already been violated. The system has acknowledged her need for protection, yet the initial harm remains unaddressed. This is not just about one woman, it's about a pattern, practice, and accountability. When victims of violence are re-victimized by the very institutions sworn to protect them, public trust collapses. When elected officials remain silent, that silence communicates indifference. When no inquiry is initiated, no policy is reviewed, and no corrective action is demanded, the message to the community is clear: endure it. I'm asking this City Council to take 4 specific actions. First, have this situation go in front of the Public Safety Committee. I'm requesting a formal review of the arrest, including body camera footage and supervisory decisions. The second demand is a public explanation of departmental protocol in domestic violence responses, particularly when the alleged victim is arrested. Third, establish a clear timeline for reporting findings back to this body and to the public. The fourth demand is when a civilian requests to speak to a shift watch commander, what is the protocol? What is to be done? Over oversight is not anti-police. It is pro-justice. It is pro-community stability. It is pro-constitutional governance. You each took an oath. That oath is not symbolic. It requires action when rights appear to have been violated. It requires courage when the issue is uncomfortable. And it requires consistency, especially when the harmed party is a young Black or Latino woman. Stephanie Medrano does not stand alone. The community is watching. The question is simple. Will this city council exercise its authority or will allow another case to disappear quietly? We know that when Superintendent Larry Akers took over, he took over a racist police department that is under a consent decree. And we do not hold him responsible for what happened. But he said when he took this position that it would be different, and it is. It's just a black face protecting white supremacy and racism and the cause of harm to a domestic violence victim. And I hope that Mr. Victor Davila is quick to ask for no confidence vote in the Springfield Police Department, as he was quick to ask for no confidence vote for City Councilwoman Tracy Whitfield. This is about our women. All of us as men and fathers should take this as a serious issue. None of us would want our daughters to be beaten. I sent you all the videos and you saw it. Please help this sister get the justice that she deserves. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm just going to go back through the list really quickly. Othaniel Brown. Is Othaniel Brown here? Crystal Bolchi. Roger Goodhine. .420 Jim. Donald De Leon. Seeing none of these participants are here, we will now adjourn the public speak out portion of this meeting, and we will resume at 6:30 for the regular meeting. Meeting stands adjourned. Thanks. Thank you all for coming. George. Come here for a minute. Can you turn the sound off on that?
Say that again.
Can you turn the sound off?
I think you just got to turn it all the way down.
Thank you. That's the easy way to do it. Good afternoon. Nope. Today is March 2nd, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. I can hear this echo. I'm calling this regular city council meeting to order. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Santinello. Absent. Councilor Martin. Absent. Councilor Perez. Absent. Councilor Brown.
Present.
Present. Councilor Govan. Present. Councilor Walsh.
Present.
Present. Councilor Hurst. Present. Councilor Davila.
Present.
Present. Councilor Fenton.
Present.
Present. Councilor Delgado. Present. Councilor Click Bruce.
Present.
Present. Councilor Edwards.
Present.
Present. Councilor Whitfield.
Present. Thank you. Before we get started with the agenda, there's a couple of rules that I wanted to reiterate, city council rules. First, rule number 3, public speakouts. It says all members of the city council shall attend public speakout. Shall is equivalent to required. That's in our city council rules. Also, I'm going to do my best to enforce Rule 10B, speaking on one issue. Councilors may not speak more than 2 times on the same question. Speaking again until others wishing to speak have spoken. So you can speak 1 time, then others wishing to speak, and then we will revert back to you. Speakers can speak no more than 5 minutes. It's up to my discretion if I allow more than 2 times and more than 5 minutes. But I'm going to do my best to adhere to that rule. Will city councilors and their guests please stand for a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we please still remain standing for a moment of silence? I would like to dedicate this moment of silence to Jerry Martin's father, Jerry Martin Sr., who passed away. And we want to wish my friend and colleague on the city council, Jerry Martin, and his family the best. So now we will do the moment of silence for Jerry's family. Thank you. Are there any reports of committee at this time? Councilor Govan?
Thank you, Madam President. The Finance Committee met right before this meeting. Councilor Click Bruce and Davila were in attendance, as well as yourself, Councilor Whitfield. We went through the orders, and they all seem to be fine without any issues. We did send to committee order number 6, which is the order authorizing contract term over 5 years for food service management. We wanted to have some more discussion on that and hopefully get some more clarification. Other than that, it was a good meeting. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Any other reports of committee? Councilor Hurst?
Thank you, Madam President. February 5th,
Is your mic on, Counselor?
About that.
Thank you.
The General Government Subcommittee meeting met. I was joined by Councilors Martin, Davila, Fenton, Perez, and Whitfield. There were 2 items on the agenda, the election of John McCloskey to the Mobile Home Rent Control Board, which I will wait to discuss until we get to his appointment on the agenda. We also discussed the 2025 city elections. We talked about the lack of parking at Rebecca Johnson School. The commissioner is going to be working with the superintendent to ensure that this does not happen again. We also talked about the lack of parking at MLK Charter School. Our hope is that the commissioner will be in contact with the individuals over there, as there hasn't been the greatest of communication, to ensure that there is parking for individuals during Election Day or on Election Day. We also talked about the Highland House opening at 7:45, well after polls opened, and so we're going to be working, or the commissioner is going to be working with the management to ensure that doesn't happen again. We talked about the changing of polling locations from J.C. Williams and how better to communicate with the residents. In addition, we will have a future meeting scheduled to discuss the actual results of the 2025 elections, which was raised by you, Madam President, and unfortunately we ran out of time, but we will have a future meeting to discuss the remaining topics. On February 5th at 5 o'clock, we had an audit subcommittee meeting. I was joined by Councilors Delgado, Whitfield, and Govan and Perez. There was one item on the agenda, which was the presentation and discussion of the food service management contract with Sodexo. I wasn't going to speak to this, and I won't, because I did think it was going to be on the agenda, but seeing that Councilor Govan has said that her committee has taken a look at it and is going to table it, I think that is wise, considering the findings of the actual audit. So I'll make sure I'm in attendance at the next Finance Committee meeting. On February 11th, at 12 o'clock, the audit subcommittee met. I was joined by Councilors Perez and Walsh. There was one item on the agenda, which was the presentation of the 2027 audit goals. The one goal that I will bring to the council's attention is that there's a data-driven risk assessment for the annual audit plan that Auditor No is doing. And he has sent a couple of emails to the council. And for those of you who have audit ideas for 2027, he is requesting that you all fill out a risk assessment form for any recommended audits. So if you haven't seen that, take a look at your email and make sure to get those recommendations to Auditor No. On February 19th, as you can see, we've had a lot of meetings. On February 19th, 4 o'clock, the General Government Subcommittee met. I was joined by Councilors Davila, Martin, Click Bruce, and Whitfield. There was one item on the agenda, which was City Council Public Speak Out. The intent behind this meeting was to discuss amending the rules to include public speak out in our regular meeting. The body made a few amendments and voted to send the item to the full body, which will appear before you all on March 8th. And then finally, on February 19th at 5 o'clock, the General Government Subcommittee met. I was joined by Councilors Martin, Davila, Click Bruce, and Whitfield. The only item that was on the agenda was the discontinuance of Wilbraham Ave. Dr. Mary Beth Cooper was in attendance, the president of Springfield College. She raised the similar safety concerns that she presented before the body at our last regular meeting. There were close to 25 residents in attendance, and I don't recall any of them being in favor of the discontinuance. Many of them were hoping for less restrictive measures, speed bumps, flashing lights, crosswalks, or potentially crossing guards. Springfield College will be meeting with the respective neighborhood councils, and then we'll have another subcommittee meeting, and I will keep you all abreast at that time.
Thank you,
Madam
Councilor
President.
Hurst. That concludes your reports.
That concludes
You
the
have been
reports.
busy. Thank you. Any other
Madam
reports of
Chair?
committee?
Madam Chair, could I
Oh,
be
yes.
recognized, please?
Sure.
Thank
Can you
you.
please recognize Counselor in seat number 3?
Council
Madam Clerk?
Perez.
Listen,
Thank you. Any other reports of committee? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on the reports of committee?
On acceptance, Councilor Santinello? Absent?
Yes.
Oh, is he?
Can you please recognize Counselor in seat 1?
Councilor Santinello present?
Here.
And yes?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Martin. Absent, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado. Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes. Motion passed. For the next item, item number 1, I will be recusing myself from this vote. I will ask Vice President Jose Delgado to take over at the podium.
Got a lot up here. Got these smiling faces in the room. All right, Madam Clerk, can you call item number 1?
Item number 1 is a no confidence resolution.
All right. Do I see any questions or comments from my colleagues? Councilor Davila?
Thank you, Mr. President. I can see that everybody jumped at once on this one. But yes, I have bringing this confidence, this resolution to the table. But before I give my elocution, I would like to recognize everybody who's sitting behind me. And as I usually say, I apologize, I cannot turn around and look at you directly, but I want you to know that I see each one of you, and I want you to think that I'm looking straight into your eyes. My apologies that I cannot talk and look at you at the same time. Mr. Vice President, first, let me say that this whole incident has been difficult and upsetting to me. I have not taken a position of no confidence lightly. I feel this body was deceived and we have been put in a very awkward position. We have been placed in a position that the perception is that we as a body, we are aware of the council president's conflict of interest and that we colluded with the council president. People have asked me straight out, Victor, it is impossible that none of you knew about this. We, this body, must correct this perception. Otherwise, will we be destroying the trust of the people in this body? The council president was responsible to disclose to us her interests, and she did not. The council president did not disclose to us the following: that the petitioner on behalf of Jets Development LLC was the council president's son, that the council president has a financial interest of Jets Development LLC. The very next day, the council president on behalf of Jets Development LLC went out and bid and won 2 public city auctions, something that is completely not allowed on the ethics rulings. The council president admitted and apologized for these actions, and suggested that this whole body is in need of ethics training. To me, this is an apology, non-apology, an attempt to deflect attention from her and her actions. That is not leadership. It is self-interest. In the course of the law department review on this conflict, it was also discovered that the council president participated and won in another city public auction in 2021 regarding the property of 43 Crescent Street. The council president communicated with DPW and zoning department to advance the discontinuance of Wallace Street, of which the council president has a financial interest. In 2025, the council president contacted the city seeking a meeting with the director of housing to discuss real property potentially available for development. The council president contacted the Old Hill Neighborhood Association in an attempt to settle a billing dispute and proceeded to threaten the Old Hill Neighborhood Association with a city audit if the dispute was not settled. It has also been brought to my attention that last year the council president recused herself on the zoning change regarding 43 Crest Street, disclosing that the council president had that she had a financial interest in the company, but yet the council president did not disclose to us that the petitioner was the council president's son. To me, Mr. Vice President, all of this adds up to only one thing, and that is that it was not a mistake, but rather a clear pattern of self-interest behavior and not the city interest. To my colleagues, to my beloved colleagues, some of you want to play it safe and wait for the Ethics Commission to make a ruling that may be delayed months or years. We don't have to wait for a ruling of the Ethics Commission, as we are a sovereign body. That, in my opinion, is political convenience. Serving as the president of this body is a privilege that we, the members of this body, confer to another councilor, a privilege that requires complete loyalty to the city and to this body, not to advance self-interest. I also have to say, Mr. President, for those in the audience who may be coming up with their own alternative stories under any other circumstances, I would have been more than happy to fully agree, although I did agree with the vote because I didn't know that it was her son or her company. So I supported somebody who, to me, made a good argument, a young brother who made a good argument, who was trying to get ahead. Don't forget those in the audience. Don't forget that when you write your own alternative narrative. But, however, this was completely inappropriate as it was a direct conflict, and I'm not going to pay for somebody else's sin. I will only pay for my sins. This is simple. If you agree that we were deceived, if you agree that we were deceived and that we reproach the council president's self-interest behavior, I ask you to support this resolution. If you are calculating, my beloved colleagues, that the elections are 2 years away and that the voters are going to forget, I caution you to be careful. People do not forget decisiveness. People do not forget deceiveness.
Come on, guys.
People do not forget deceiveness, and people do not forget self-interest. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. We have, excuse me. We have Councilor Justin Hurst, followed by Councilor Brown. Councilor Hurst.
Thank you, President Delgado. So the basis of Councilor Davila's resolution is the result of a memo that was sent to us by Solicitor Bonacani. Now, I could accept this memo, Mr. President, as gospel if it came from Solicitor Judge Payne, our former solicitor, or even if it came from our former Solicitor Pakula. I would respect the memo if it came from Attorney D'Souza and our law department, or Attorney Days, or Attorney Moore, or even Attorney Shea, all of whom are well respected in the legal profession and who have integrity, but not from the current solicitor. He can't possibly be the one educating us on any ethical standards, considering his own transgressions, which are many.
I'd like to remind folks, excuse me, Councilor Hurst, I appreciate everybody's enthusiasm, but I want to make sure we give Councilor Hurst, he has the right to speak right now, so if you could please hold. Thank you.
I don't mind if they interrupt, Mr. President.
I know, but we got to get the business of the business.
And Mr. President, if this body is not aware of his ethical and moral shortcomings, then I suggest you all read the latest article in the Metro Record or pick up this month's Point of View. They lay out very concisely what many of the mainstream media outlets have refused to do thus far. See, they give context to the man behind the memo. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I will tell you that our current solicitor has no moral standing to author such a memo that Councilor Davila swears by. He has no ethical standing to author such a memo. In fact, he shouldn't even be barred to practice law, never mind serve as your solicitor. His political appointment by Mayor Sarno made our city and our law department the laughingstock to all who practice law in Western Mass and beyond. And in spite of all of that, the very idea that your solicitor and Councilor Davila think that I'm going to give any credence to the same memo that the solicitor sent directly to the news media and to the Ethics Commission before he sent it to the counselor who requested it as the basis to indict our president with a vote of no confidence before the Board of Ethics has even made a ruling is crazy. And if I'm the Board of Ethics, I wouldn't even accept this memo coming from this solicitor. Anyone else in the law department, sure, but not from him. But Mr. President, I'll tell you who I'm even more disappointed in outside of the solicitor. Councilor Fenton. Okay. He had the audacity to sign his name to this order to issue a vote of no confidence in our president. Yet, on February 8th, 2021, he came before us to discontinue Armory Street between Atwater Road and Weaver Road. Very similar to what the president was trying to do. At that meeting, he never disclosed he had a financial interest in the discontinuance. And for all my investigative journalists out there, and I know there probably are many, or maybe not, I'm gonna make it easy for you. At the 2-hour and 43-minute mark of the meeting, Councilor Fenton recuses himself, but never discloses his financial interest in the discontinuance. He also never filed a conflict of interest disclosure with the clerk's office. And according to Gladys, no counselor filed any disclosures with the clerk's office in 2020 or in 2021, same time in which Councilor Fenton came before the city council. Councilor Fenton also had his husband sign the petition for the discontinuance so that he could be as discreet as possible and hide the fact that he was going to benefit directly from the street closure. It's all relevant, Mr. President. Councilor Fenton had multiple correspondence with department heads.
Mr. President.
And he, too, never disclosed his financial interest to them. Yet when it came to Councilor Fenton, the end result was drastically different, Mr. President. See, the department heads never reached out to the law department to say he was placing an undue influence on the departments to advance the Armory Street discontinuance. And in fact, quite the opposite occurred. Chris Signoli and the Department of Public Works were willing to jump through hoops for Councilor Fenton They were willing to expend time and city resources to negotiate easements for Councilor Fenton so that he and his neighbors could take over a public street and didn't have to spend a dime in return. Never once did they breathe a word to the law department
Mr.
about
Hurst.
them being under any undue influence.
Councilor Hurst, if I could get you
Hold
to
on,
wrap
I'm
it
gonna
up.
finish.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not
All
gonna
right.
speak again on this. I promise you that. I'm gonna use my 10 minutes right now. Never once did they breathe a word on the law department about them being under any undue influence. Councilor Fenton is an attorney, which means he, more than anyone else, should know what the conflict of interest law requires. He served on the council for many years prior to 2021. He has served as president longer than any other councilor. And he has taken the conflict of interest exam required by the state every year. But what he doesn't do is file a conflict disclosure and fails to disclose that he has a financial interest, and no one says a word. There's no investigation, there's no memo drafted of the violations, no memo sent to the Board of Ethics, no media scrutiny, no votes of no confidence, nothing. And even with this new information that is revealed today, I'd be willing to bet that the same establishment that sought to publicly destroy the reputation of our president before the Board of Ethics has even weighed in won't do a darn thing to hold Councilor Fenton accountable. And Councilor Davila, we all know that you won't hold Councilor Fenton to the same standard that you're doing our president. I know we won't see a vote of no confidence.
Councilor Hurst, I'm going to cut you off.
There's an obvious double standard, Mr. President.
I understand
Councilor
that,
Fenton
but
is part of the system,
this meeting
part
is
of the
intended
power
to go on
structure that is so afraid to see their power slipping away, which means that he gets held to a different standard, one much lower than the one our president is held to. To the rest of my colleagues on the council, you can either choose to be on the right side of history today, or you can join Councilor Fenton, Edwards, and Davila, who are on the wrong side.
All right. Thank you guys for, so I have next up on here Milo Brown, but before I do that.
Would you yield, Councilor
But
Brown,
before I
for me
do
to
that,
respond, please?
I want to make sure we're not supposed to be attacking one another. And I know that we're on this council rules. No, excuse me. Council rules. Council rules. We're debating on this thing now, but I want to make sure that we keep it talking to us and that we kind of keep it civil because we're trying to get this thing done. So there's a number of councilors that want to speak up, and I have Milo Brown next on that. So go ahead, Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. I believe this thing has become too much of a distraction. We definitely have to stop pointing fingers. All of my colleagues are great people. I come from a Christian background. He without sin throw the first stone. Right now, I think it's not a question of ethics and if I agree or support any of it. The vote itself does nothing. So if we all vote and support it, it does not remove the president. There maybe are other things you can do or say and put it into place to remove the president, but it's not grandstanding on any part. You know, it's just to me a distraction. When you look at even when they talk about the neighborhood council stuff, I'm active in my area, so you have to watch what you print in the papers because I know for a fact she was trying to support a constituent, an individual in the neighborhood council. So the way they worded it and the way they blew it out of proportion, you know, it's really getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand because I know it wasn't fair to her. It wasn't fair to the individual. So as far as agreeing with it, what happened. That's about ethics. I work in the state. I do understand how they have a job to do what they're going to do. Okay. A lot of times what people don't understand that, and I'll give it to this. A lot of people don't understand that a city council position is a part-time job. We usually just get things and we review it. I always still try to say that we need to make it a full-time position where now when they're having these meetings, the actual city councilors can be at those meetings. Like Boston and other municipalities have full-time positions as city councilor. A lot of people do not understand. I get calls all the time for my full-time job as a state rep, Bo Williams, chief of staff, where I'll do constituent service and they'll say, I can't get in touch with this individual, this individual. City council is a part-time job. So if a city councilor, if they say, hey, I didn't know I couldn't contact here or do that, I see it, someone else does it, I don't know, because I do know as far as city councilors, where everyone error is that eventually there is going to be mistakes with us just being part-time employees. Okay. We're not full-time employees. So I'm not so harsh on how I judge each and every individual in their knowledge and the things that are going on. We do have an ethics commission that they're flawless. What if they say nothing's going to happen? In December to January, we have an opportunity to pick a new president. So it is really not that long anyways. I don't believe that voting to try to remove a counselor, I mean, just to say we don't like a counselor, that's division. And I'm not going to do that. You know, I believe that every single one of my counselors are fantastic. I believe Counselor Fenton, he's one of the smartest guys. Oh, you just got to listen. Counselor Whitfield, Counselor Hurst, Counselor Davila, all of us are great individuals. I will not be divided in this. Okay. So no, I won't support it just on that facts. Not about pointing fingers, trying to dig up skeletons on people. And I'm not doing that. Okay. I believe in all of us. We all swore an oath. Of course, we're going to make mistakes. Okay. And we'll let the ethics decide that. But as far as me getting into a pointing finger things, I'm not going to do it. Our vote means nothing anyways. It means nothing. This vote means nothing. It doesn't remove the current president. So I will not be supporting it. Other than that, it's just divisive. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. All right, I have next on here, I'm trying to keep track of all of you guys that are popping your hands up. So I have Councilor Walsh, followed by Councilor Fenton, followed by Councilor Govan. All right, Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think we would all like to get to the point where we're going to actually vote on this issue, so I think we were getting a little off track. And I think, Councilor Hurst, as past president, you know the rules, and you know personal attacks are not allowed. So I think that we should just vote on the question. And I don't know if other people want to speak, but I think that's why everybody's here. I think that's what our responsibility is tonight. Vote on the issue and not get sidetracked.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. First, you know, I'm not going to dignify everything that Councilor Hurst said with a response. I'd like to say just a little bit about what he said before I read the remarks that I have on the issue. But if you notice what he didn't say is he didn't say that Councilor Whitfield didn't do anything wrong or that there wasn't a pattern here that was worth looking at. Instead, he tried to change the narrative in the way that our president of this country does from time to time, quite frankly, and focus on other people. And
Excuse me,
and I
order.
think that the attacks, well, it's true. You sounded like Trump. And the attacks on our solicitor are unjust and unwarranted, and the attacks on me are lies. I'm only going to say two things about it because it's really the only part that's germane to this. I disclosed in that matter and recused myself. The discontinuance never happened, so there is no discontinued street which I benefited from. And the petition, which the council was hearing about, which you had plenty of time, I guess, to go look up from years ago, was a petition that was brought forward by the neighborhood council and 4 abutters, of which my former residence was one. Okay? That was it. It was a petition to discontinue a street in 4 ways, with the other 3 abutters participating and the neighborhood council. I recused. The discontinuance never happened. So his statements.
Can we get to the?
Oh, yes, Mr. Vice President. What is it you'd like to say?
Can we get on to the? Come on, finish.
I'm going to read the remarks that I've prepared. I'm going to read the remarks, Mr. President, that I've prepared. I reread the remarks that I prepared, and I don't have anything else to say about Councilor Hurst's attacks. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very sensitive matter. It involves the professional reputation of our colleague and the integrity of this chamber. Some of us respect that more than others. We need to treat it with the utmost seriousness and respect for everyone involved. Here's my understanding of where we are and how we got here. At our last council meeting, which was a month ago on February 2nd, I tried to raise the issue of Councilor President's need to recuse from an item in which she was presiding over, because her son was presenting at the podium relative to a petition to discontinue a portion of Wallace Street. After I raised the issue, Councilor Whitfield immediately recused herself. To me, I was expecting that to be the end of the issue. But what's transpired since then has brought us here today. The matter in question was a proposal to discontinue a paper street that belonged to the city so that ownership could go to the abutters on each side. This has been done in the past. What I took issue with about this proposal was that the applicant seeking the discontinuance told us they intended to ultimately use it as a building lot. This is not something we've done before. I raised this issue to the entire council, and I pointed out that we did not have any indication that the neighborhood council had weighed in, nor did we have any supporting testimony from the neighbors in the immediate vicinity. What we had was a petition signed by Councilor Whitfield and line number 1, members of her family, and other residents from miles away elsewhere in the city. No resident anywhere near the street discontinuance had signed the petition. I stated that I was not necessarily against discontinuing the street, as it was not being used by the city. But I felt that we should send the matter to committee so that the council could have more time to review the issue and correct any notification errors. What I didn't say at the time, but what I was thinking quietly, was that this would also allow Councilor Whitfield time to correct any errors she had inadvertently made by failing to recuse herself from the vote at the outset of the process. That motion to committee failed 2-10. I was very surprised by the result, and I even said so on the record in this chamber. I said that the buildable lot clearly had value and that it was unprecedented to discontinue a street for this purpose and to do so for no consideration to taxpayers. What followed was another 10-2 vote in favor of discontinuing the street. Again, I thought that was the end of the issue. The next morning, Councilor Whitfield sent an email to all councilors, and in it, she asked the Law Department and the Ethics Commission for guidance regarding her failure to recuse from the discontinuance vote the night before. 2 days later, the Law Department responded to Councilor Whitfield's request for a legal review and concluded that Councilor Whitfield had a financial interest in the applicant for the road discontinuance and that she violated ethical rules when she failed to disclose and recuse herself from the entirety of the deliberation. Councilors then called for a special meeting on February 13th for the purpose of rescinding our vote to discontinue a portion of Wallace Street. That vote passed unanimously. The fact that the second vote passed unanimously and the first vote was 10-2 suggests that councilors who voted against my motion to committee and in favor of the street discontinuance would not have done so on February 2nd had they known of Councilor Whitfield's interest. At the special meeting on February 13th, Councilor Davila requested that the Law Department do a further investigation into the business entity affiliated with Councilor Whitfield to determine if there were any other inappropriate dealings. I can't speak for anyone else, but it seemed to me like Councilor Davila felt misled, and he said so earlier this evening, about the first vote. And I was trying to determine if anything like this had happened in the past. At Councilor Davila's request, the Law Department then issued another report on or about February 12th. In that report, additional items were disclosed. I want to be clear. People make mistakes, and elected officials are no different. An error or a mistake in failing to disclose a conflict of interest would not make me conclude that an individual is unfit to serve as council president. Yes, the position comes with heightened scrutiny, as it should. We were all human, and mistakes happen. I take Councilor Whitfield at her word when she says that she made a mistake by failing to disclose her interest in the Wallace Street property deal. I do. If that were all that happened, I would not support a vote of no confidence tonight in President Whitfield. However, the results of the solicitor's second report are what led me to support this vote of no confidence today. In that 100-plus page report, it was revealed that Councilor Whitfield has violated ethics rules with what I would describe, Mr. President, as reckless abandon. I won't spend time reiterating everything that has already been said by Councilor Davila and that we've all read in the reports, but let me just point to two violations, the ones that were the most offensive to me and led me to support this no confidence vote in that report. First, when I read the email exchange between Councilor Whitfield and Vice President of the Old Hill Neighborhood Council over the payment of an invoice for an independent contractor, I was upset. Councilor Whitfield said to the Vice President of this volunteer neighborhood group, Ms. Sanchez, and I quote, "I will contact the city auditor and all spending and contracts of the have all spending and contracts of the Old Hill Neighborhood Council reviewed." This was less than 3 months ago. This was in December. I found that interaction to be particularly threatening, and it made me lose confidence in our leader. The second major concern I had from the solicitor's second report was that it revealed that Councilor Whitfield attended a public municipal auction for the sale of vacant lots the day after she was informed of the ethics violations that she had with respect to the Wallace Street deal. This is problematic to me personally for two reasons. First, her attendance at the auction showed that she understood the value of these vacant municipal lots. Her companies bid tens of thousands of dollars on lots at the auction, and they won some of those bids. So clearly she knew that the night before, the city council should not have been giving away a lot on Wallace Street for $0. And second, and perhaps most alarmingly, it was the night after our controversial Wallace Street vote. So the circumstances, my colleagues, were that in the morning, the councilors received an email from Councilor Whitfield disclosing her conflict relative to her involvement with this company, and later that same night, she attended a public auction in this building for municipal lots. If it was a mistake, it's not one I'm prepared to look past. At best, it was very poor judgment to participate in that auction. As for the threats to Old Hill, I think those speak for themselves. No matter which way you slice it, these were serious violations of public trust and ethics, and they erode public confidence, for which I find no excuse. In this chamber, we all have serious ethical obligations. We take those obligations seriously, and I know how hard we try to respect and even fear those rules. Councilor Whitfield, unfortunately, demonstrated a lack of fear and respect for conflict of interest law. She has not respected the solemn obligation to maintain public trust, and in the process, she has brought the actions of this very chamber into question. That is why I thought that Councilor Davila was right to ask her to step down from the presidency pending an ethics investigation. No one in this room has called for her to step down from the city council. We only asked that she step away from the presidency so that we can focus on the real work and get back to work in this chamber. She's refused to step down from the presidency, and so we're here tonight. Based on this history, Mr. Vice President, I support the vote of no confidence, and if it passes, I would expect the council to proceed with amending its rules and placing a vote on its next meeting agenda to elect a councilor to serve out the remainder of her term. Thank you.
All right. So before I get to Councilor Govan, I do want to remind our councilors of our rules. I did allow Councilor Hurst to go on. I also allowed you, Councilor Fenton, to respond because I allowed him. But I want to remind folks of our rules of 10A and 10C. 10A is members have the right to speak, but also have the right to not to be interrupted. 10C is respect for other counselors and appointed elected officials. And the debate that we're talking about is pertaining one of our city councilors. So I want to remind our colleagues of that, and let's keep it that way going forward. Councilor Govan.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. So on the no confidence resolution, I would urge us to vote no on that because I feel like we're rushing to judgment. We have a lot of information that came out, and I know that it's now going to the State Ethics Commission. So I think that they should decide what it is that we need to do. There could be a fine. I didn't see any crimes committed in the solicitor's memo. And I think that, yesterday was the beginning of International Women's History Month, and last month was Black History Month. We have the first Black woman president of the city council. I'm hoping that I'll be the first Latina president of the city council. And we have to give grace, right? I know that Councilor Whitfield worked in City Hall. I'm sure that she was witness to many meetings where things like what she probably did happened right in front of her. So she thought it was okay, right? I'm not condoning any unethical behavior, but what I want us to do is to be, sure that we give grace where it's due. I think we should let the process play itself out instead of rushing to judgment, because if any other person would have been a city council president at the time and this would have happened, I don't think we would have been here. And from what Councilor Fenton just said, Councilor Whitfield probably opened the box a few times by sending out emails. I've said it time and time again. I don't talk a lot because people will use your words against you. So I don't talk very often. But when I do, I want to be heard and I feel like I have something to say. So in this situation, I'm urging us to have grace and to allow the process to play out. Earlier, the beginning of this year, every year I think of a new topic to think about throughout the year, right? And this year, the first thing I thought about was the good old boy system. And I looked it up because I wasn't sure if it was something we made up or they made up. And what it was is in the 1800s, late 1800s, right after slavery ended, white men, straight white men, decided that they needed to have a system to make sure that they were in control and that they maintained control. That system still plays out today, and I'm going to be writing about it, shortly. So I want us to be very, very careful because history, we're living in history right now. Councilor Fenton said the name of that man that I refuse to say. And, the things that are happening now in this country, in the world, we need to make sure that we're on the right side of history. The things that I do and the advocacy and the community outreach and the work that I do in my community for justice is not for me because I'm not going to benefit from it. It's for my grandchildren. So I want us to make sure that what we're doing today, people don't look back and say, hey, wait a second, this is not something that should have happened, So I urge us to vote no on this resolution because, as Councilor Brown said, it's not going to do anything except to continue to divide us. So I would urge us to, like Will Naylor said, work in unity somehow and find a way to work together. We don't all have to agree on everything, but I think we should be working together respectfully. So thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Looking at the rest of my colleagues, anybody else of my colleagues? Councilor LeVar Click Bruce.
Thank you, Vice President Delgado. Really, this is, I was asked a few times, what are my thoughts, and this is not really, is being sent to ethics. And I'm not here to judge anybody. We all make mistakes. I'm sitting here, I'm reminded of my mom always told me growing up, never judge, never cast those stones. These are some serious accusations. But again, I think for me, it's letting the process play out through the ethics committee. I've heard my colleagues said in this chambers, but sometimes we got to put ourselves in someone's shoes and let the process play out. So those are my comments. I'm going to be voting against this resolution because I want to make sure this process is played out. Thank you, Vice President Delgado.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Edwards. Is that you, Counselor Brown? Do you still have your hand up, or is that from before?
Yeah, I do.
All right. My apologies. That was up. I didn't know if that was still up from before. So, Counselor Brown and then Counselor Edwards.
I just really want to make sure people understand that when I think of Black excellence, it doesn't make mistakes. So I refuse to hear that forgive a person because of certain reasons. That's not why I would still support Counselor Whitfield. Counselor Whitfield is a hardworking individual. My father's always taught me, like, what would I say to my father? If I made a mistake, I can't say I made a mistake, Dad, but this, they did this or they did this. That's disingenuous in my mind, just how I was raised. There is a such thing as Black excellence. Black excellence is a male and a female, okay? It's not up to me to judge Counselor Whitfield, okay? But as far as me sitting there and crucifying Counselor Fitton, I won't crucify Counselor Fitton. My father was head of internal affairs. So when it comes to a colleague who now want to scrutinize and go into the facts and this and that, that's all on everyone. And Counselor Hurst, he's a lawyer. He gonna go into the facts. So I don't try to even judge them. That's, you guys go to battle. But this is a distraction. I believe everyone is great individuals. We can't make it a racial thing because if a person does right or wrong, what does race have to do with it? So I just really want to just make sure everyone is grounded. I support the fact just because we're just being so divisive, it's so distracted. I believe in all my counselors. I believe in Counselor Hurst. I believe in Counselor Fenton. He is not, don't say he's racist. I don't believe none of them are racist. I don't. We all have different views on things. And just because a person has a different view, it doesn't make them racist. So I just want to make sure we understand this. It's really becoming a distraction. That's all I have to say. Thank you, Councilor President.
Thank you, Counselor Brown. Counselor Edwards, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. In my perfect world, I would not feel compelled to offer any commentary on this issue. Unfortunately, I believe I should speak. This is not a comfortable conversation for me to participate in. First, allow me to affirm that I am not anyone's judge, prosecutor, or member of any investigative body, but I am a member of this body, a Springfield City Councilor, duly elected to represent the residents, taxpayers, and voters. The system does not allow for me to vote for any ward councilor, and the sanctity of the voting booth shields me from having to share which at-large councilors I did or did not vote for. The 12 other members of this body are my colleagues, and it's a privilege to serve with some of you. And to the others, I respect your privilege. I respect your right to have disdain for me, my leadership style, and my worldview. That being said, I'm most disheartened by the characterization of this vote of no confidence and the related investigations as being racially motivated. I won't attempt to speak for the operation of anyone else's mind or the motivation of those who are free to make up their own conclusions and judgments. To those conspiracy theorists, you are free to make your own assumptions and conclusions, but allow me to state for the record, I am not in the business of character assassination. I personally felt the sting of that type of criticism multiple times throughout my political career. And the saddest part is the source of the most egregious, hurtful, and damning commentary has not come from members of the white community or Hispanic community, but those who more closely share my genetic heritage. To the small but very vocal group who spew words of division on Facebook, podcasts, and other forms of social media, you're free to speak your truth, but you do not speak for all black people, nor do I. There is no one collective voice of the black experience in America, and we are all free to think for ourselves. Please note that all of us live in glass houses, so be careful hurling stones. Words matter and disrespectful, and it's disrespectful to assume everyone who believes that there have been violations of ethics or that there may have been possible criminal conduct are only interested in sabotaging the political career of our colleague. For me, this vote is about the fact that the council president's personal, professional business dealings and the associated investigations have resulted in clearly make it impossible for her to effectively carry out the responsibilities of the presidency at this time. I've attempted to be measured in my comments, and I apologize if I failed. But I stand by my record of service to my ward. I've always stood on the principle as a counselor that even if you don't always agree with my vote, that I can explain my rationale, and I'm always available to engage in a rational conversation.
Thank you, Councilor Edwards. All right. Do I have any order? All right.
Point of privilege.
Councilor
Mr. President.
Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I was hoping not to speak again, but I am taking this turn as a point of privilege, if I may. Since my name was brought up by Councilor Hurst repeatedly. Now, I do have the blessing, Mr. President. I started apologizing to the crowd before that I cannot look at them. But I got my guy here, Mr. Hurst, sitting next to me. So I will turn and look at him while I'm saying this, because he specifically brought up my name.
Counselor?
Counselor,
I let that go on in the beginning.
It's a point of privilege. It's a point of privilege.
I allowed that
I have the right
on.
as a point of privilege when attacked.
No.
Thank you. Councilor Hurst. Councilor Hurst. It's actually 18.
Get with to the point.
18,
Get with to the point. Desi.
I will be happy to have a discussion off the record, but if I may, as a point of privilege, Councilor Hurst, you have absolutely no right to question my moral compass.
All right, Councilor Davila.
Of all the people here,
Councilor Davila, I asked earlier on vote 10C.
That was, Mr. President, my moral compass was questioned, and I have a point of privilege to answer. It is in the Robert's rules, and there's no holy way in hell that I'm going to slide.
I'm not allowing this to turn more into a clown show. Madam Clerk, I'm going to take
Mr. President, if I
I'm going to
may-
take a 3-minute recess.
No, I just want to say.
I'm going to take a 3-minute
because
recess.
Councilor Fenton,
'cause this-
Councilor Hurst just clarified to me. If
He
I
hasn't.
may, Councilor Hurst just clarified to me. And I withdraw my statement because Councilor Hurst and I, believe it or not, are able to talk, even if we disagree.
Thank you.
And so I withdraw my statement.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Govan?
I call the question.
All right, Councilor Govan called to move the question, seconded by Councilor Walsh. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll and call the question?
On the motion, Councilor Santinello.
No.
Councilor Santinello, just to clarify that the vote is to move the question.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Martin absent. Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Davila.
Point of clarification, to move the question? Yes.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Can I get the Springfield officers to,
I think you should have a recess.
can we have a 3-minute recess, please?
3-minute
Thank you.
recess.
We're going on a 3-minute recess, so this calms down.
La policía está botando a la gente por bocona, ¿ok? Es lo que está pasando, ¿ok?
So, what you talk about, Maria? They can hear you. What happened? What's going on, Brian? How you?
Can I have your all attention, please? Please, can I have your attention? I know it's a recess. It's a recess. We do have city council business and people waiting here to get through. And I'm thankful for the support, but we do have official business that we have to get done. So I'm just gonna ask everybody to please let the council get through this vote. And then to please just calm down for a little bit so we can get to the official business that's on the agenda. I'm saying this during recess. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I know our counselors got business to take care of, and we can't do it like this. Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, we're going to call this back into session. Can you start off with the vote that we were in the middle of to move the question?
The last vote that I called was Counselor Hurst, who voted yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Delgado?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Click Bruce? Yes. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield recused.
All right, Madam Clerk, can we call the roll on item number 1?
A vote of yes is a vote for no confidence. Counselor Santinello?
No.
No. Counselor Martin absent. Counselor Perez?
You repeat again, please? Having problem?
Counselor Perez, we're voting on item number 1, and a vote of yes is a vote for no confidence.
No.
No. Counselor Brown?
You said if I'm voting no, you said no and no confidence, meaning what? Can you explain it again? Because I didn't understand what you were saying.
Counselor Brown, all counselors, if you vote yes, that means you have no confidence in the president. So a vote of no means no. A vote of yes means you have no confidence.
Right, then in that part, thank you, Councilor Brown, be recorded as yes.
Counselor Perez, I'll change your vote to yes. Counselor Brown?
No.
No. Counselor Govan?
No.
No. Counselor Walsh?
No.
No. Counselor Hurst?
No.
No. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Click Bruce? No. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield recused. Counselor Delgado?
No, the item fails. Madam, can we take another 2-minute recess? Madam Clerk, we're going to take another 2-minute recess to
Thank you.
Order. Order. We're going to resume regular city council business. To the council, we're resuming the meeting now. And I just want to say, everybody's entitled to their opinions. And I just want to move forward from here doing city business. Madam Clerk, please call item number 2 on the agenda.
Item 2 is the appointment of John McCloskey to the Mobile Home Rent Control Board.
Who's speaking on this item? Thank you.
Sorry.
Mr. McCluskey, can you please join the podium? Thank you. I'm going to use this little thing, this timer. 5 minutes.
I won't take 5 minutes.
Okay.
The General Government Committee, Subcommittee of the City Council met on February 5th at 4 o'clock. We met and we took a vote to approve John M. McCloskey to the Rent Control Board. And I will let Mr. McCloskey take the floor, tell us a little bit about himself, and tell us why it is that he wants to be a part of this board. But we all voted to approve Mr. McCloskey to this committee.
Yes, thank you, Council. My name is John McCluskey. I work for the City of Springfield in the Parks Department, and I live in Forest Park with my family. I wanted to be a part of this board. I thought it was something good that I could serve my community for. Low-income housing, I think, is very important, and I thought it was an issue worth being a part of.
Thank you. Oh, sure. Councilor Hurst.
Sorry, Madam President. We also received a letter of support from Mayor Sarno, and I just want to highlight that Mr. McCloskey is a former educator in the Springfield Public Schools, and he also currently works for the Parks Department. So we appreciate your service as a former teacher in the Springfield Public Schools.
Thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Mr. McCluskey. Any other remarks from councilors?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Councilor Santinello?
Yeah, I know Mr. McCloskey. He's going to be a great addition to this board.
Thank you, Councilor Santinello. Any other remarks from councilors? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
On confirmation, Councilor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Martin absent. Councilor Perez. Councilor Perez? Oh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Delgado. Yes, Councilor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes. Item number 3 is a zone change referral for Court Square Urban Renewal. So no vote is required at this time. It's just being read into the record, and it will be referred to the appropriate committee. Item number 4, Madam Clerk, I'm about to call the item. Madam Clerk, please call the next item on the agenda.
Item number 4 is January Revenue versus Expenditure Report.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you, Madam President. Patrick Burns, 90 Clement Street, Springfield. Tonight I'm presenting the January Revenue versus Expenditure Report. This represents the first 7 months of fiscal year 2026. As you can see on the report, revenue year-to-date is $624.9 million, or 61% of budget. expenditures are $639.1 million, or 63% of budget.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Any questions from councilors? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On acceptance of the report, Councilor Santinello?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Martin, absent. Councilor Perez?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Brown?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Councilor Govan?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Walsh?
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Delgado? Yes. Councilor Click Bruce?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Whitfield?
Yes. Item approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item on the agenda.
Item number 5 is the bills prior year for the Parks Department in the amount of $1,400.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Point of order, do we want to take them all at the same time, or? Oh, we
yeah.
can't do that one. I'm sorry, it's the other ones.
Yeah,
Apologies.
Sorry.
I'd like to, Counselor, but I don't think she'll let me. Can we wrap it all up? This is a $1,400 bill from a prior year for the Parks Department. It was for the Amtrak police officers during the 9/11 event, and it just didn't get paid. So we need your authorization to pay with current year funds.
Thank you. Ms. Bono, any questions from councilors? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On approval, Councilor Santinello?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Martin, absent. Councilor Perez?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Govan?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Delgado? Yes. Yes. Councilor Click Bruce?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Whitfield?
Yes. Item approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item on the
item
agenda.
is item number 6, cable PEG access account Comcast franchise fee, which is in the amount of $116,675.22.
Thank you. This is a third quarter payment we received from Comcast for the cable, and we accept the funds, and then we turn those funds over to Focus Springfield.
Thank you. Any questions from councilors? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On approval, Councilor Santinello?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Martin, absent. Councilor Perez?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Govan?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Delgado? Yes. Councilor Click Bruce?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Whitfield?
Yes. Item approved. Can I just remind councilors to turn on their mics when they are answering yes, and others to turn them off when they're done speaking? Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Next item is a transfer to free cash to facilities, snow removal services in the amount of $500,000.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Good morning. Good evening. Jonathan Kerrigan, Springfield Facilities Management, 233 Allen Street.
Do you want to explain the transfer? Thank you.
We're requesting a transfer to the facilities operating budget to cover snow removal operations at all municipal buildings, which includes here at City Hall, Police Station, Symphony Hall, any public building on the municipal side this evening. As all of you know, it's been a really difficult winter, and we're requesting this transfer to pay the bills that we have on hand. We're not able to deficit spend, so we were transferring from other lines to cover these expenses in the interim, but we're forecasting a modest amount to cover us for the remainder of the season, and we're all hoping for an easy remainder of the season.
Yes. Any questions? Councilor Hurst?
Quick question. Why are you not able to deficit spend? I thought you were the only department that could deficit spend.
That would be DPW.
That's DPW. This is not DPW.
Yes, sir. This is facilities management.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions from councilors? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On approval, Councilor Santinello?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Martin absent. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan. Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes, item approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item on the agenda.
Item 8 is elementary schools upgrade bond order in the amount of $1.2 million.
Good evening, Peter Garvey, Director of Capital Asset Construction. We're looking for $1.250 for the schematic design for the potential heat pump conversion for the following schools: the Zanetti Elementary School, Talmadge Elementary School, Liberty Elementary School, Lynch Elementary School, and the South End Middle School. What this does is it allows us to start looking at the heat pump conversions for these schools. It'll bring us into the state-of-the-art technology, and it'll be energy efficient. This is the new way we're going into the MSBA. This is a new program for them. So we are starting out with them to push the green energy bill through.
Thank you, Mr. Garvey. Any questions from counselors?
Yep.
Sorry, Counselor Santinello, followed by Counselor Brown.
Thank you. Peter, what will be the total cost on these conversions?
This is our first ones, so we don't have a history of the cost, but I'm thinking that they're going to be probably $3-4 million a school, depending on if we need to bring new electrical services in. So again, this is just the beginning of the program, and the project. So we'll have more information the next time we come to the council.
Thanks, Peter.
You're welcome.
Okay. Counselor Brown?
I'm always curious, and it's just because of Jordan Alomar. So I don't know. I want to let you know he's somewhat related to me down the line. He has a facility where he does indoor stuff. How much does an indoor facility cost? Like if I wanted to, do you know that? Who knows that kind of thing? Like we spend millions and millions and millions. Is there any way we can get a bubble to be able to do like an indoor track facility? How much does that cost?
Counselor Brown, we are going to change how we've been doing the meetings and allowing any topic to be discussed that's not on the agenda. We are going to focus on the topic that's on the agenda, and that is the bond authorization order. We can always have a subcommittee meeting to talk about an indoor facility. But right now, is your question on the, one moment, Counselor Brown, one moment, please.
I'm just having
I know.
am just asking a question.
I understand, but it has to be regarding the bond authorization order and not anything that's not presently on the agenda.
And that's fine, but other counselors ask other questions.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking.
I understand, Counselor Brown, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you, but this is something that was brought to me from the law department. I'm not trying to get in any more trouble. I'm trying to do the right thing. And so we do have to stick to what is on the agenda at this time, unfortunately. But we can't have a subcommittee meeting and talk all about the sports facility at a later date.
It's annoying to me because we're a winter.
Yeah.
It's annoying to me.
I understand.
Thank you. And I understand. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Counselor Brown. Any other questions regarding the bond authorization order? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On approval, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Martin absent. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes. Item approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Item number 9 is an order authorizing a contract term over 3 years for food management services at the Springfield Public Schools.
Counselor Govan.
Madam President, that item was sent to committee, so we're going to have a finance committee meeting about it.
Are you making a motion to send
Do
it
we have
back
do
to
it?
committee? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I make a motion that we're sending this back to the finance committee to have further discussion on it.
Second.
Item- Motion made by Counselor Govan, second by Counselor Davila. Any questions, comments on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the motion to committee.
On the motion, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Martin absent. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh. Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes, motion to committee approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is item 10, an order authorizing contract term over 3 years for the school department, copy, print, mail, and courier operations.
Is there anyone here to speak to this item?
I can speak to it.
Oh, thank you. Pat Roach, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam President. The school department would like the opportunity to enter in a 4-year contract if pricing if pricing comes in better than a 3-year contract. We are soliciting prices for both 3 years and 4-year contracts, and we want to select the most advantageous.
Thank you, Mr. Roach. Any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On approval, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Martin absent. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown. Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
No.
No, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes, item approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Next item is item 11, 5-year HP services lease for the IT department.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Andy Doty, 74 Pinecrest Drive. So we're here, it's been 5 years. We're here again to ask for another 5-year lease for the computing equipment upstairs. It has about a 5-year expectancy. It's due to be replaced. We do this, it makes it easier for the city to budget. We get a better deal. So we'd like to go forward with the 5-year lease.
Any questions or comments from councilors? Thank you, Mr. Doty. Councilor Brown.
I really want to thank you for the work that you do. I do talk to a lot of people. I do know you guys are under financed as far as the actual equipment and all that geeky stuff. I'm a geek. Is this enough? Are you guys satisfied?
Councilor
I'm just
Brown,
asking.
they are looking to get a 5-year lease. Does that mean you're going to RFP or?
No, we purchased off state contract.
you
We're all
purchased
set.
it?
We
Okay,
we have
so
everything
it's
lined up.
already,
Okay.
it's already.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, that's all I'm asking. Thank you, Councilor.
Okay. All right,
Thank you.
thank you, Counselor Brown. Thank you. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Doty? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On approval, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Martin, absent. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes. Item approved. The next items, 12 through 17, are under our $100,000 threshold, and we can call them all together without objection. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on items 12 through 17.
On approval, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Martin, absent. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
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 Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado. Away, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes. Items approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is Health Services for the Homeless Grant, no match required, in the amount of $4,725,776.
Commissioner Colton Harris. are
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Madam President. I am here. I am grateful for your time. This is a grant that the city has had since 1988. It is a federal grant to provide oral health, case management, nursing services, and other enabling services to individuals who are unhoused in our city. This grant covers 3 counties and is administered by the Department of Health and Human Services. So this is a 2-year grant. I'm coming before you with a 2-year grant. And so this is a different fiscal year. Our federal fiscal year starts February 1st. And so this grant will cover February 1st, 2026, and then February 1st, 2027. Each amount is $2,362,888. So, and that comes to a total of $4,725,776. And I am requesting approval on this grant. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Counselor Brown.
You know, I always have to tell you how great you are. I sometimes you say, Counselor Brown, I can't do everything, but I want to tell you that, you know, I appreciate you and all the great work you do. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Counselor Brown. I appreciate you.
Ditto. Counselor Govan?
We did discuss this in the Finance Committee meeting, and I think I just want to highlight the great work that the Health and Human Services Department does with the Commissioner Colton Harris. And this grant has been around for a very long time. I can't wait for us to see the day when we don't need any more of these grants and we have our problems solved in this country and the world. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Govan. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On approval, Counselor Santinello. Counselor Santinello. Away, Counselor Martin. Absent, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton. Yes, Counselor Delgado. Away, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes. Item approved. The next 4 items are about EV charging station installations from Commonwealth Electric Technology. We will be asking questions if we have some regarding that. Is there someone to speak to these next 4 items, 19 through 22?
Yes, hi, good evening. This is Steve Conti with Commonwealth Electrical.
Okay, so Hector, you will sit back down, or? Okay. Okay. All right, well, we have Steve on 3 times that I see him. You have the floor, Mr. Conti.
Thank you. So this is a grant that the city of Springfield was awarded through the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center's on-street charging solutions program, which our company at Commonwealth Electrical is administering with a number of municipalities across the state. It's essentially a program to offer free on-street electric vehicle charging infrastructure to municipalities, focusing primarily on promoting electric vehicle adoption by reducing the barriers to charging, essentially by offering public charging on street in these cities and towns, which is a benefit to folks who rent and who might not have their own off-street charging or capabilities. So we developed over the last year or so 4 projects after looking at upwards of 12 across the city. We've landed on these 4 locations to install level 2 charging stations, just one dual port level 2 charging station at each location. And we've gone through a license agreement with a number of city departments and have received signatures on those, and are now just looking for the final approval from the council, and we'll be looking to install these charging stations this summer.
Wait a minute. What did you say? What did you say? Hey,
Counselor, you're unmuted.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Did you finish your comments?
Yes, I have. Thank
Okay. So I'm going to go in order that I see hands, and I see Counselor Perez first.
I was reading today the development of this portal. I just want to see if it's appropriate that we could send this to the maintenance committee and have some further discussion based on the fact that the district that I represent is going to be a couple, and I have a couple of questions concerning the development of these portals and the place that are going to be installed. So is that appropriate right now, Madam Chair, to request to be sent to the Maintenance Development Committee?
Second.
Yeah, are you making a motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to, yes.
Okay. Okay, motion made by Counselor Perez, seconded by Counselor Hurst. On the motion, any comments, questions? Counselor Brown?
Is that to send all of them? I'm sorry, Counselor Brown.
We're taking them all up together. Can we, do we have to individually make a motion? Is our lawyer on?
Yeah.
We can take them all together? Yes. Okay, I'm going to defer to our leaders that's been presidents before, saying that we can send all of the items to committee at once. Are there any questions or comments? Counselor Govan?
Madam Chair, and I'm sure this might come up in the subcommittee meetings, but these charging stations, and I'm sorry, I forgot his name. Would know, Steve, do people have to pay to charge their cars on here? And how much is it if they do? I don't know anything.
Most municipalities will set it up for a paid charge, but it's really up to the city, who's going to end up being the owners of these charging stations, how much you want to set that rate for. The ongoing cost of owning and maintaining the charging stations in this program is pretty minimal, because we are covering the cost of the cloud services, the warranty, as well as a preventative maintenance check-in kind of package. So it's really just the cost of electricity that you would need to recoup by potentially charging the electric vehicle drivers who use the stations. But again, it's really at the decision of the city how much.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you,
Madam
Counselor.
President.
Any questions on the motion? Again, these questions are on the motion to committee. The motion to committee, if it is approved, a lot of the questions that we may have on the charging stations will be addressed in the subcommittee meeting. Counselor Brown.
Why I agree to it is because sometimes when you talk about political gain and what an actual energy person who can donate to a political figure, a lot of this political stuff when it comes to energy prices come from state and federal stuff. So I do believe we have to bring this to committee. It's more to it than what people think. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Counselor Brown. Any other discussion on the motion to committee? Counselor Perez, I see your hand is still raised. Is that from the previous motion that you made? Okay, it's down now. Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on sending items 19 through 22 to committee, Maintenance and Development.
On the motion to committee, Councilor Santinello. Away, Councilor Martin. Absent, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Cliff Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes. Motion to committee approved. Again, gentle reminder, we are going to be discussing the Eversource items. We are going to stick to conversations related to the Eversource items in our packet. We will not discuss pricing, how much people are paying, how much things are increasing. I'm just giving guidance that we will stick to the petitions at hand. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Madam President, council members. My name is Greg Gallant. I'm a resident of Sturbridge, Massachusetts. I have 3 projects this evening here. I will start with the first one is Crestmont Street in Springfield. This is a replacement project for the existing gas line, and that involves around 4,600 feet of new plastic install, upgrading from the low pressure system to a medium pressure system. The next one I have is Edgemont Street, and that is approximately 2,900 feet of 2-inch plastic installation, again, and replacing old cast iron steel pipe from a low pressure to a medium pressure. And the third one is Oklahoma Street, which is approximately 2,600 feet of 2-inch plastic pipe install, again, replacing the old cast iron steel pipe. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Yes, Councilor Davila, followed by Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening. Quick question. So it says here on the petition, Eversource Gas, Crestmont Street, and as I read here, the paperwork, this on-the-ground conduit, correct?
Yes, correct.
But when I looked further on the sketches, hold on, let me just pull it up. It talks about a request to be granted for location and permission to install and replace underground gas facilities within the section of Crestmont Street neighborhood. But this says that this goes I have street name, I have Dwight Road, Tiffany, Crestmont, Sue, Higgins, Voigt, Gale. That's the whole thing. So you're basically doing all those streets, not just Crestmont?
Yes, that's correct, and I can explain that. So,
Please, yeah.
yeah, the way the company designs projects, they name it a street within the project.
Okay.
And for that, like, we'd have a lot of Main Street projects, you know, as you replace over the years, you'll replace some of Main Street.
Right.
But yes, for that, I can list off the other street names for those projects.
When are you going to be starting doing this project?
This project is planned to start, I believe, mid-year in the summertime.
Okay, and so that area, it's a very nice neighborhood over there. However, we also got Dwight Road, which is quite busy near the golf course. What kind of traffic preventions are you going to be taking?
So we set up meetings with the DPW. We go over the traffic plan with them. So we traditionally try to leave at least one lane of traffic open. If, you know, deciding on when we install the pipe, if we're not able to do that with things in the way, we reach out to the DPW department, request permissions for any type of detours
Right.
around the neighborhood.
Right, because that's a closed section. There's only one entrance, one exit on that neighborhood. Maybe, Madam President, maybe Hector. I think I see Hector. Is that you, Hector?
Yeah, Hector's in the back.
Yeah,
Hector, can you come to the podium for Councilor Davila's question?
Thank you, Madam President. Hector, can you opine on this, on the traffic situation for that close neighborhood of Crestmont, Gale? How would they, so they don't get trapped in, basically? I think, if I may, I think her microphone's off.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Eversole have to send a traffic management plan, and we'll review it on the engineering department before the permit. Maybe we request do it the job at night during the afternoon during the night hours. But it depends on what the traffic management plan and the review for approval.
Right.
What day is going to work better for the city.
So when you say afternoon, I'm guessing it will be after 6 p.m., right?
Yes.
Will be nighttime.
During the night.
Yeah, okay. I just would hate to see them getting trapped in their own neighborhood, and, you know, because you, like I say, you have Dwight Road there, that area could get very busy at certain certain times of the day. Hector, can you keep me in the loop on that, please?
Yes.
Into once you get a plan, please make me aware of it.
Yeah, and sometimes they close just the half of the street and they can
Right.
use the other half.
Okay.
And next day they open the other half.
Okay.
And work.
Got you, thank you. And I just have one more question to the Eversource representative. So when you say low pressure to medium pressure, is that for a better, reliable delivery? Is that what it is?
Yes, that's correct. Yep, so when, you know, the colder months that we've had, you know, at times, you know, pipes will freeze, meters will freeze. With the higher pressure, it allows better pressure to the system.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilor Brown, I see your hand. Was that from
Yes.
before? Okay.
No. I know how to use it.
Okay. I'm gonna use
As
this.
far, maybe, Eversource, is it something that you're digging? Are you guys digging up something?
Yeah, we're digging in the road and just installing new plastic lines and abandoning the old current lines.
And where are you digging in the road? Are you digging in the middle of the road?
That, I don't have the exact plans in front of me. We typically try to dig on either side of the street to leave a lane of traffic and basically a safe traffic zone for the residents to move within the streets.
And then when you're done digging, what are you doing after it? What are you doing after that?
Once we complete the digging and installing the pipe, we replace the dirt, we put the dirt back in, put hot asphalt over.
It's not dirt there. I'm saying, what are you doing after when you rip up the street?
Once we rip up the street, we remove the dirt, place in the new dirt, and replace the road, the pavement.
With brand new street? Or are you just putting gravel?
We put new hot asphalt, hot pavement.
Yeah, so right now, are you a resident from Springfield? Or
I'm not a resident of Springfield, no.
Okay, because right now they're complaining about the potholes, and you do know that's how potholes, come about. I'm a jack of all trades. So doesn't that make potholes?
If it's properly compacted, it does not. There's a process as when you install the dirt back into the hole, you run compactors.
So if I make a brand new street and then you dig it all up and you put what you putting on it, it's the same thing?
Yes, it's the hot asphalt that goes back in, and that's considered a temporary repair until our final restoration company comes in and does a final repair, which is typically wider than the temporary repair that we initially put in.
Councilor Brown, I'm trying to adhere to Rule 10B, which gives each councilor 5 minutes, 2 times to speak. Can you please wrap up a little bit? You can speak one more time, but
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Yes, Madam President. That's all I was kind of wanted to. We have potholes. People are screaming about the potholes. You guys keep digging holes, and it's not like the streets being repaired like the streets were. So if everyone who's crying about potholes, I really want you guys to try to help do it a little better. We need to make sure, as far as when we deal with you guys repair our streets better. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Potholes are important. Any other questions on these particular Eversource items? Did we talk about 26, 27, 28, and 29? Okay, who is going to speak to those?
I will, Madam President.
Who is I? Name and address for the record, please.
Jason Ferrero, 300 Cadwell Drive, Springfield.
Thank you, Jason. You have the floor.
Okay, ma'am, we can start with the first item, which is Central Street. Central Street, we are requesting permission to install one 4-inch duct line 2x2, so 4 ducts total, from an existing manhole 311 over 1-1U to go up Central Street and then terminate on private property on the Northern Heights project. This is going to be used to relocate the meters that are currently inside the Northern Heights buildings to the rear of the building. They can't go in the front of the building because it's a historic building. The second on that item, the Ashman Street, is for the same purpose, but this is requesting permission to install a duct bank and a 5x10 manhole. So again, we can extend our facilities to the rear of that building so we can move those gas or the electric meters out of the units and behind the buildings. The third on the agenda is Blanche Street. Blanche Street, we are requesting permission to install a 40-foot Class 1 fully owned pole. That pole will be used to feed service to the house at 170 who's trying to upgrade their service. Currently, their service is fed from a pole that's in front of a different neighbor's house. And then lastly, St. James Circle is requesting permission to install a pole because currently we have a guy wire, so a wire supporting one of our poles attached to a tree, and the customer is trying to get the tree removed. So in order for us to maintain our facilities, we need to install a pole to back up that other pole line.
Thank you, Jason. Any questions from counselors? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on items 19 through 29.
On items 23.
I'm sorry, 23 through 29.
Through 29, Counselor Santinello?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Martin absent. Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Govan?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Delgado? Yes. Counselor Click-Bruce? Yes. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes, items approved. Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the next item on the agenda.
The last item is a resolution for the Hoop Hall Classic.
Counselor Hurst.
Of course. Thank you, Madam President. I'm not going to speak at all on this. I'll just read the resolution into the record. Whereas the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame is a globally recognized institution located in the city of Springfield, known as the birthplace of basketball, and whereas the Hoop Hall Classic and its associated Hoop Hall Weekend events, including Hoop Hall Invitational, Hoop Hall Prep Showcase, and Junior Hoop Hall Championships, draw thousands of students, families, coaches, media representatives, and visitors to Springfield each January. And whereas the 5-day slate of Hoop Hall weekend activities generates over $10 million in regional economic impact for Springfield and the surrounding communities, with over 11,000 attendees, more than 50 participating high school programs from roughly 17 states, and hundreds of hotel room nights booked in conjunction with the events. And whereas these events provide significant economic benefits to local hotels, restaurants, retail businesses, transportation services, and tourism-related industries, as well as national media visibility for our city. And whereas the city of Springfield has an interest in enhancing its regional economic competitiveness and sustaining tourism and visitor spending, particularly in the winter season when major events like Hoop Hall Classic help drive business activity. And whereas strengthened communication and collaboration between the city of Springfield and leadership of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, including President and CEO John DeLeva, is essential to maintaining mutual understanding and ensuring Springfield remains the long-term host of these marquee events. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Springfield City Council strongly opposes any relocation of the Hoop Hall Classic, Hoop Hall Weekend, or related Hall of Fame basketball events out of the city of Springfield. The City Council calls on Mayor Sarno and his administration to immediately engage in direct, ongoing dialogue, which it sounds like has already been occurring, with the leadership of the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame to reaffirm Springfield's role as the permanent host of Hoop Hall events and to better coordinate planning, communication, and shared goals. The City Council urges the administration to accelerate the planning and implementation of a modern, multi-court sports complex to accommodate our youth sports programs throughout the city, support the many Hoop Hall Week events, and encourage other regional athletic tournaments to Springfield in an effort to retain and enhance the economic impact. The City Council requests formal, structured communication framework between the city administration and the Hall of Fame that improves transparency, early notice of plans affecting Springfield, and a cooperative event and tourism development strategy, the City Council reaffirms its commitment to protecting the Springfield's economic and cultural interests and preserving its legacy as the birthplace of basketball for residents, visitors, and the broader global community. The hope is that we can keep Hoop Hall Classic here for the long term, and in addition to that, that we can build a sports complex, which I know the mayor has mentioned that he was looking to do at least for the last 10 years. And it sounds to me like we need to expedite that, and that speaks to your earlier point, Councilor Brown. So I hope my colleagues will support this resolution. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Councilor Davila?
Thank you, Madam President. My compliments to Councilor Hurst for bringing this resolution forward. I'm just going to make some quick comments. First, I do recall at the time Councilor Curran talking about the need to have a sport complex, and I think they had identified an area, I believe it was on near the Basketball Hall of Fame, near the river, and apparently that has not happened as of yet. I do have to say, Madam President, that if we lose the Hoop Hall Week here in Springfield, that we are going to lose a lot of money. The regional impact is going to be horrendous. I am glad that apparently the administration is engaging in efforts to keep it here. And so I join anything that I can do to ensure that we keep this important economic, cultural, and athletic event here in the city of Springfield. And I also will add, Madam Clerk, respectfully, is Councilor Hurst allows it, of course, to join this resolution. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Madam Clerk, please add Councilor Davila to the resolution. Councilor Brown, followed by Councilor Govan, followed by Councilor Perez.
I want to thank my colleague, Councilor Hurst. I know his son and my son, they're athletes. Student athletes are important. The way that I believe that Springfield student athletes have been disrespected is just beyond me even speaking about it. So I won't go into negativity. So I want to commend my colleague. I want a lot of people to understand that we had an opportunity to build a sports complex. And not only do we not have something, and I will disclose it, Jordan Alomar is a distant cousin, but he has higher expectation. We need to build something even bigger and help him. When it comes to the winter time and track, our kids, indoor track, ask anybody and any parent, our indoor track, we run up and down the stairs and around the doggone schools. If that's what we want to really develop, and we have some of the top athletes in the nation, I believe we should support them. I mean, if we already have a F- entertainment, we don't have anything as far as entertainment but the casino. Why can't we support all of our athletes? We have athletes who are recruited from all around, who makes the NFL, and I just don't understand why we don't have something that could help them in the wintertime. So I definitely support my colleague. And I also think Jordan Alomar should be somebody we should look at. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Govan?
Thank you, Madam President, and I also want to commend Councilor Hurst for bringing this forward and would like to be added to the resolution. It's something that we absolutely need in the city of Springfield. One of the events that happens annually, and we should keep it here. Regarding a sports complex, I'm hearing Holyoke talk about building a sports complex, you know, and I think it's time for us to continue thinking about things like that, as well as other events and places that we could bring tourists to, not just basketball, but I go when I go away, I see these nice little places where a lot of people go to, like marketplaces, and they're outdoors, and they're really nice. And I always think, why can't Springfield have something like that? So I look forward to, I think, Councilor Delgado's committee, I apologize, Councilor Delgado's committee about new revenue and how we can make things happen like that. So I absolutely would be in support of this resolution, and please add me if you would, Councilor Hurst. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Please add Councilor Govan to the resolution. Councilor Perez?
I just want to say that I want to be added to the resolution. And one comment I should make, we should not look at this only from the economic perspective. We should look at it from the physical and mental health perspective as well. So it's very, very crucial that we maintain this type of programs in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Any other councilors? Please add me to the resolution. Please add Councilor Walsh and Councilor Delgado. Councilor Fenton. Is there any, Councilor Brown, is there anyone that don't want to be added to the resolution? Please add all councilors to the resolution.
Just really quickly, I just want to highlight for my colleagues that in Boston, they're well past a actual sports complex being inside, but they're moving to a sports complex being outside as well. And I also think it's a good opportunity, especially as it relates to the sports complex and additional hotels, to start having conversations with the developers for the courthouse that are buying up all of the property downtown. There's only going to be one winner for the courthouse contract. And the question is, what happens to the rest of the property that these developers have bought up? And so the time is now, and we need to stop doing so much planning and start doing more acting. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Any other comments on the resolution? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Oh, sure. Thank you, Councilor Walsh. You always have those nice little sayings in the back of your head. You remember a lot. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On approval, Councilor Santinello. Away, Councilor Martin. Absent, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh. Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes. Item approved. Madam Clerk, are there any other items on the agenda?
There are not.
Seeing none, the City Council meeting is adjourned. I just want to say special committees will be announced soon and who will be on them, and I look forward, since that conversation, to all of what Councilor Delgado is going to do in the Revenue and Economic Development Generating Committee. And thank you. Good job today.